And welcome to Seahawk Talk on Wednesday, February 10. I'm Ed Habershaw, co-hosting with Andrew Pizzelli.
Off mute now.
Okay.
Finally.
You can subscribe, like, and follow on each platform: YouTube, Twitch, Facebook. Through the live broadcast, many of your comments will be displayed on screen. The audio portion is also on our podcast site, Seahawk at Sounder FM. And right now, we are going to go to The Shake with Keep Your Distance. Somewhere.
Better keep your distance. Better keep your vanity. Better keep your distance. Better keep your vanity. Better keep your distance. Better keep your vanity. Better keep your distance. Better keep your vanity.
And welcome back to Seahawk Talk. I'm Ed Habershaw and joined alongside Andrew Pizzelli. Andrew, we have no guests today. How remarkable is that?
Whatever will we do?
I don't know. For 30 minutes, the next 30 minutes, we're going to be talking Seahawk Talk without any of our coaches, without any of our administrators. It's just us and our producer, Gavin Parent, who's right now is backstage. His second day producing Seahawk Talk as we returned last Wednesday, February 3, and we'll continue every Wednesday from 12:30 to 1 p.m. and broadcasting Seahawk Talk for 30 minutes, so it's quick. It goes by so fast. Last week we had 5 guests, I believe, on screen, in addition to Gavin and ourselves. It flew by because there were 5-minute segments with our guests, and I was just blown away by how fast it went.
The fastest half hour in all of Division III sports talk internet radio.
Yeah,
/ television.
we're going to compete with Grinnell out of Iowa and their basketball team.
Yes.
The team that launches threes and nothing but threes. That's who we're in competition with.
Just because we don't have guests doesn't mean anybody watching can't jump in. Like you said, comment section.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think throughout the show. Jump in the comments. So if there's ever a show where we're going to be feeding off comments, it'll be today. So not that we don't have plenty to talk about. So wherever you want to start, Ed, we'll go. You lead.
Seahawk to Seahawk. That was an event that we hosted last night. It was the 5th year that we had done it. Let me bring up the slide so that it's rotating on the screen over there. This is an event that Jody Moradian, our Director of Athletics, who's been on our staff since 2015, technically 2015, November of 2015, she was hired as our athletic director, and then joined us in January of 2016, and the very next year, in 2017, she instituted the very first Seahawk to Seahawk because she borrowed it from one of her earlier schools, Boston College. It was Eagle to Eagle. Well, we did it, I think, better. We did it Seahawk to Seahawk, and we can show the folks the images that we've created. Seahawk to Seahawks typically takes place in Oka Court. In great conditions, Oka Court couldn't be a better setting than Oka Court for Seahawk to Seahawk. So, Andrew, you've been around for all 5 of those Seahawk to Seahawks. Tell me about your impressions of the very first one that we did, and then leading up to last night.
Well, with anything, the first time you do something is the learning curve, right? So, what we have, you have the vision for what you want, and then there's trying to get it done. So, trying to figure out, okay, how do we want this thing to run? How are we going to get? How many people should we have? Are students even going to be interested? Where are we going to have it? What should we do? So it's always a whirlwind that first time. You talk about things going by fast. I remember that first time, that thing breezed by, mostly because it was panic running around. The mic's not working. This isn't working. We had this presentation. So there's always the working out of the kinks. But it was a huge success, and obviously each year you kind of learn and grow and improve upon. You get more people who were part of Seahawk to Seahawk the first time that come back as mentors for future ones. So that's been really cool to see. And then the more you do something, the more people get interested in it. Now, with Ochre Court, obviously, you're limited. At some point, we can only have so many people. I think the beauty of last night was, despite the fact that, yes, you'd like to have that face-to-face interaction and networking and more of a, hey, we're sitting down and all getting to converse back and forth. That can become difficult over Zoom if you've got like 50 people in a room together. We all know family Zoom talks over holidays. It turns into what it usually happens, is people talking over each other. So not conducive for networking. But last night we were able to have what I think, I'll go out on a limb and say, the most people ever participating in Seahawk to Seahawk, because we had it virtually through Zoom, and we had almost 200 people in our main room, and then different, able to break out into breakout rooms depending on the area of focus that you had for your career, and the mentors that we had. And I think it was great. Those mentors got to kind of get asked some questions and talk about their experience. The room I was in was nursing and healthcare people, which, if there's ever a year where you had recent grads and then people who had been in the field for at least 4 or 5 years to talk about their experiences and tell these kids what they're going through and what to expect, this was the year for that group. So it was unbelievable to hear them talk and still connect. They all had the chance to talk with our students, and for our students to talk to them and share their thoughts and swap contact information and connect. Because I'm sure not just nursing, but every field is, if you're a senior, you're thinking about, oh my gosh, what am I heading into? To hear some reassurance and get advice from recent grads on what's going on, what to expect, what they should do. I think probably there's a lot of things that you could say, listen, let's not go crazy trying to make something happen right now because of everything else that's going on. If there was ever a year we needed Seahawk to Seahawk, I'd say this would probably be one of the more important years when these kids need something like this. So it was great that we were able to pull it off. And as I said, I think I'll go on maybe our most successful one yet. So
you are correct. One of our very first mentors in 2017, he came from the Ocean State Waves. His name is Matt Finlayson, class of 2008. He was a mentor back then. Got to know Jody Moradian.
Worked out well.
Not more than a year after, or probably just over a year after that, he interviewed for the position of assistant athletic director and was hired. So he left the Ocean State Waves, joined our department as an assistant director of athletics, Matt Finlayson. Jody handed him the ball, no pun intended, to grow Seahawk to Seahawk. So he has developed such great connections with alumni, not only from his era, but way, way back, and also our most recent alumni. As you were saying, in your breakout room, we got to have Maddie Villarreal and Bridget Newberry on, recent grads from the nursing program, telling everybody what it's all about in terms of the pandemic, having their experience as athletes, their final season on the lacrosse team wiped out because of the pandemic, and then, not sticking around to get another year of eligibility, which they would have gotten had they chosen to, but saying, hey, we're going to get right into the workforce. We're nurses.
They were needed.
Yes, they were.
Still are.
and Matt did such a huge job as far as organizing not only last night's event, but the previous three. But last night was unique. And you're right, we had the most we've ever had. We had over 165 student athletes attended. And not all of them were student athletes, I might add, because some of them are connected with, they have friends on our teams, and they got the link from their friend and said, could I attend that too? And our athletes are in a sharing mode. So they shared some of their emails with their friends, and I saw some people that weren't on our rosters in attendance last night. But you see the graphic that's rotating here on the Google Slides, and Matty Finlayson brought in a handful of 22 alumni. He's one of them. He's got to be counted among those folks. But from Brooke Bowley to Jillian Woodward, alphabetically, that group represented 5 different areas. Business, that had the largest group, and Matt Finlayson was in that group as well. He brought in our keynote speaker, Matt Palmisano, who we'll talk about shortly. Cybersecurity was represented. Education, Corey Hughes moderated that breakout room, and she had some of her younger student athletes in that joining into that room, because it was mandatory that we asked our juniors and seniors to attend. So it was sort of mandatory for them, but sophomores and freshmen said, let me check this out as well. What am I doing on a Tuesday night, February 9?
No capacity at the doors, so come on in.
Yeah. We didn't know. I mean, this was our first time. We didn't know if we were going to break Zoom or not.
Oh yeah, well that was when we decided to go, okay, we've let the mentors in. There's like 20, we got 30 people in the Zoom, and we see the 190 something like other people waiting to get in. And I remember you said, all right, we're going to hit admit all. Be prepared for Zoom to crash. So
Yeah, right? What's the backup plan?
we have tested the limits of Zoom.
So your group peaked at 30. Every now and then I would jump in from room to room, and we had a good amount in the nursing/healthcare. So it wasn't just nursing only in your breakout room, but you had anybody that was involved with healthcare would
Damian
check that out.
Delano, football alumnus, who is an administrator at a nursing home facility. Again, places that have been hit very hard, and it's been a struggle for almost a year now with them for the pandemic. So every area of healthcare has been touched by this. So it was great to see all of those different areas represented in that breakout room.
And Jody Moradian moderated the police and the administration of justice room, and she brought in a great deal of alumni. You see the names that are on the screen as it rotates. Brendan Flynn, representing men's tennis from the class of 1995, joined the business room. Steve Magno from the class of 1997, a member of our very first men's lacrosse team, joined the education room because he is the principal at Peabody High School in Massachusetts. So he brought unique perspective to that room, the education room, and I overheard one of his comments when I was bouncing around from breakout room to breakout room. Steve Magno said, if they ever offer you an opportunity to be a principal, say no. And it was tongue in cheek. He said it's an awesome responsibility. He enjoys it, but he didn't realize how much there is to do within that job role.
Yeah, I mean, I could think about when I was a kid in high school, and I think like, what does the principal even do, man? Come on. But yeah, that's probably way more involved than we think, as he said. So that was funny.
Yeah. Talk about the folks that were in your room. I know you had Maddie Villarreal, you had Caroline Norton, who was a champion cross-country runner, finished first overall at the 2011 cross-country championships when it was hosted by Roger Williams in Bristol, Rhode Island. She joined us as a nurse on the front lines.
Yeah, I mean, I think what was great about that room was everybody in that breakout room, was a nursing student or somebody in healthcare administration. And so they were eager to hear what our mentors had to say. And they each could offer a different perspective. Damien working as an administrator at a nursing home. Maddie and Bridget like working in the hospitals as nurses. And as you said, what Caroline was doing. So they each kind of could offer similar, they were all dealing with the same problem, but they all had different little subsets of problems that they had to be mindful of, and being different age groups. Now, not widely different, but kind of different. They could each offer a different perspective. Bridget and Maddie literally were in these kids' shoes a year ago. So they could really talk about, listen, for you seniors, this is what you're going to be going through. This is what you should expect. This is what you should be weary of. Don't be, and a lot of them talk too about, rushing to get a job. If you have a job lined up, great. This is something for all areas, but, don't judge yourself versus anybody else. That was a big thing that came out. We talked a lot about managing burnout. Which is big in all fields, but especially the nursing, with how many hours you work and the toll it can take on. You're seeing people who are struggling with this pandemic, front and center, and the mental wear and tear that can take. So about taking care of yourself. Obviously, Caroline with a family as well, offering a different set of perspective on that, but the same message. But talking about not judging yourself versus anybody else, relying on your team, not feeling like you need to do everything yourself. There was just a lot of great messages that came out that applied specifically to them. I think our kids, it was good for them to hear, the nursing and the healthcare kids, to hear this reassurance and get this really good advice. But it's advice that you could apply to any of the breakout rooms, any of the fields from last night. So it was really good.
Yeah, and we were joined by a member of the class of 2007, Matt Palmisano, who was a pitcher and a 1 or 2 time hitter in his career as a baseball player. When he played for Steve Sorella, our then baseball coach, he was teammates of Eric Sorella and Matt Finlayson during his time here. And what a great keynote presentation he gave to the entire group at the outset. Coming from Chicago, Illinois, and he jumped into the Zoom call from his office space, which his window had behind him the actual L train in Chicago. Every 5 minutes, that train's going by.
Yeah, that was really cool. And also, hey, I was waiting for, it was National Pizza Day. I was waiting for him to pull up a deep dish, and tease us, but that didn't happen. Just showing off the L train was enough bragging.
Well, I want to give a big shout out to Jody and Matt and Bill and Corey and you and Plant City, our staff that was present here in this building. Now, Jody's office is at another wing of this same floor, second floor at Rogers Recreation Center. She had Corey, Bill, and Matt Finlayson in her little area. They were all in their own rooms, doors closed, not only COVID, but also for audio feedback, not jumping into each other. I'm here in my office, but she delivered a meal from Plant City that was tremendous. I had the guaco burger, and if you're familiar with Plant City, it's all plant-based food. Yep. So it's a burger that it tastes like a burger, but it's made out of plants. It's amazing. The
wonders, the miracles of modern science.
Absolutely. And I think some of our students are involved in that right now. So Seahawk to Seahawk, what a tremendous event. We couldn't have asked for anything better except for not being in a pandemic. But because of the pandemic, look at the positives it brought about in terms of being able to generate such a tremendous event.
I would say let's aim for having like 300 people involved next year, but I don't know if we'll be able to cram. That might not meet the fire code for Ochre Court, so we're hoping to be back in Ochre Court next year.
Yeah, the breakout rooms, it was interesting. And like we said, I don't think we would have had these numbers that we had this year at Oka Court because teams are practicing.
Or
Uh,
even from the mentors, people look at Caroline.
Right.
She jumped in from work.
Yeah.
She got off work and said, "I'll just stay and jump
She
on
stayed,
virtually." I mean, if this, how often? And we had it yesterday. We were trying to get a couple of people at the last minute.
Yes.
Two police officers, Josh Munson and Ryan Costa, friends of Salve Athletics, and they were like, "Oh, I'm working till this time. If it happens where so many people last night, if they had to physically come to Newport, they might not have been able to participate. So the virtual thing helped people be like, click off work, click into Seahawk to Seahawk." So, like you said, trying to find the positives.
Yeah, and Whitney Bushy, who jumped into the business room, I didn't see her background until I jumped into the business room, but she gets the award for the best background. It was a virtual background in her case, not Matt Palmisano's background, but she had the Salve logos behind her, which perhaps was a green screen that she had as well. But credit to her for her graphic design experience here at Salve, putting the nice Salve Athletics logo behind her.
Here's the challenge. Any graphic design seniors, next year when you come back to be a mentor for Seahawk to Seahawk, you need to have a virtual background of a train going by with the Seahawk logo on it. That's your challenge.
Well, we're going to add another senior for Salve Regina, and it's Gavin Parent, our producer backstage. Gavin, welcome to the screen. Tell us about your week since last February 3.
Much has happened significant besides really the Super Bowl that I watched. So kind of just going to class, going to work, have this internship with you guys. So besides the Super Bowl, really is kind of the same thing, different day. But the Super Bowl is definitely a topic we could get into if you guys wanted to.
Who did you root for, Gavin? Gavin, who were you rooting for? Are you a Patriots? First, start. Are you a Patriots fan?
I'm a Cowboys fan, unfortunately. I was born a Cowboys fan. There's nothing I can do about it. So.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. I just wanted to know.
I didn't have a team I was rooting for, but I mean, I just wanted to see a good game, and I was kind of disappointed in the game script itself. To kind of, fun fact, it's the first time in Mahomes' career, whether it was college, high school, or the pros, that his team did not score a touchdown. So it's just like not what I expected at all when it comes to being a good football game. So I didn't really have a team I was rooting for. I mean, it's cool to see Brady win his 7th ring, solidify his GOAT status, or whatever people say nowadays. But I don't know. I was kind of disappointed in the game a little bit.
Gavin, have you always lived in Massachusetts, or do you have a Texas background?
My dad was the Cowboys fan, so like I said, I was kind of born a Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of people who live in the New England area who grew up fans of other teams because the Patriots for a long time were a laughing stock. So the way we joke about the Jets and the Browns and for the Bills for a while, that's how the Patriots were worse than that. So a lot of Bills in Miami, Oakland Raiders, Dallas Cowboy fans.
Oakland, Los Angeles, and now Las Vegas.
Yeah, so there's a lot of pockets
them.
of other fan bases in New England. We'll see if we'll see how many of the New England hardcore fans stick around as things transition here into a new era of New England football.
Well, Andrew, you've had the opportunity.
And is now a Bucs fan.
Yeah, you've had the opportunity to talk about the Super Bowl, not only with the great presentation you did on Super Bowl Sunday with Coach Gilmartin, Max Yates, and Jack McGuire. That was terrific as far as a preview of the Super Bowl, but also on your 360 Sports show that you do with Christian Lauber, a Salve Regina grad.
Yep.
You discuss it there as well. My big point with Super Bowl 55 was this logo. I'm not alone because my wife and I were watching this Sunday night, and I saw Super Bowl 54 with this logo. That was my first instinct was, this is Super Bowl 54. That's LIV. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so I'll pull up an image quick here. The Super Bowl used to do a unique logo every single year for the Super Bowl. As you can, it started out with just words. You could see Super Bowl, and then they used Roman numerals to make it seem cool and epic and something like that.
And hard to read.
And hard to read, yeah.
Like movie
Yeah, movie
captions
years.
at the end.
But they started to, it was a different logo every single year, which I liked. I mean, Super Bowl 31 down here, XXXI in New Orleans. You kind of get that New Orleans flair from that logo. They each kind of had something different style. One of my favorites, Super Bowl 36, they redid it after 9/11 to be the United States as the American flag. They were all kind of unique and cool, and you'd see that logo and you could think that game could come to mind for you. 2010, they changed. They went to this standardized logo with the trophy, kind of an image of the arena, the host arena in the background, and the letters down below. Now, they got to Super Bowl 50, and they were like, Super Bowl L? Ugh. We don't want to do that. So they just went with 5-0.
They don't want to do this?
They just went with 5-0 down here. And they had the city in the background. And then when they got to the LIs, the 50s, they started splitting it up. So they'd have the L on one side and then the other Roman numerals on the other side of the trophy. And the reason they didn't put the numbers below it is because then the logo would start to get really long. And when you're trying to put a patch on something or brand things, you're trying to keep it square as you can. And so that's why they've gone the way they've gone now. And you can see 54 on the end there, L, the trophy IV. And I understand what you're saying about, a couple nights ago, Super Bowl 55 L with the trophy and then the V. I'll say this, though. The NFL has never been that clever. They just stick the trophy there to split up the... Personally, I would rather put the trophy at the end, have the letters, then the trophy. You still keep that square. Maybe they want it centered. So maybe in the future to avoid confusion, but I would say the NFL has never been that clever. So that's why the way it looked for Sunday, I see how people could read it initially as, is that supposed to be an I with the trophy? But
are we going back in time?
But no.
So next year is going to be L trophy VI.
Now, it seems like every 5 years they're kind of switching up. They've created like half-decade standardization. So you've got these 5 years, then you've got the trophy with the 50 and the 5 and the 0 on either side, and then the letters split between the trophy for this last 5 years. I don't know if they're going to do that for this entire decade or if they're going to switch it up and create a new standard for the next 5 years or not. I wish they would just go back to a unique logo for each Super Bowl. That would be cool. Get to represent the city that it's in a different way, but it's the NFL. They'll do what they want.
Well, we are going to, we've got less than 2 minutes because we're going to still be tight. We're going to be so tight. Any lasting thoughts on what has taken place in the last 7 days? You got 1 minute.
Nothing that I could spend less than a minute on. So remember to like, follow, and subscribe. If you missed today's show, you can go and subscribe, go back and watch it, or you could check out the podcast, Sounder FM, or wherever you get your podcast from. Just look for Seahawk Talk. So that's my message.
Thank you, and I do want to give another shout out to Scott Barrett, the sports editor for the Newport Daily News. Thanks for chiming in on Seahawk Talk today. Last night, when we were exchanging the emails regarding our special connection to Super Bowl 55, whatever logo they want to use, Francis Spencer, what a great story he is as far as being a 2015 graduate here at Salve, and then a Super Bowl champion as a member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers front office.
He's got a ring with Salve Regina, and now he's got a ring with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So yeah, awesome moment for Francis, for Frankie Spencer, and he got to be there too. Yeah.
Well, thanks to our guest today, our co-host Andrew Pizzelli, our producer Gavin Parent. Once again, we're live every Wednesday, 12:30 to 1. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook Live, and on Twitch TV. You can always go back and rewatch the episodes. And if you want, Seahawk Talk on the go, you can subscribe to the Seahawk Talk podcast on Sounder FM, which will be an audio-only version of the show we put out after each and every episode. You can go back and listen to every episode while you're driving, out for a run, out for a bike ride, out sitting in the park, or out at the cliff walk enjoying the waves. So no excuse to ever miss an episode of Seahawk Talk. Thank you, and have a great day.